A beautiful shot of downtown Indianapolis here. You might not have had your head out of the sunroof, but you might have had it open yesterday as it was a beautiful day. Windows open across the state, I bet, letting in all that fresh air. Thanks for waking up with us here on 13 Sunrise at 6 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. I'm Julia, along with Julia here and Chuck. We're happy you're with us, but we're also happy that we are talking about this great forecast.
Yeah. Looks like we were really hoping that spring would stick with us for a while, and then we transformed to summer for a little bit yesterday, it felt like.
As I was pulling out of my house this morning, I had my lights on. I looked in the flower beds and my tulips were like way out. It's beautiful, and I think we're ahead on this spring schedule. In fact, it's going to be summer-like here today. I wanted to begin first of all at 6 o'clock by saying good morning. Hope you're off to a nice start to the day. This is Indy, this is Lafayette, Kankakee, and Gary, and this is rain and thunderstorms. I do believe that this misses most of our viewing area during the course of the day today. I want to real briefly show you this. This is Dallas. Severe thunderstorm warnings and strong storms from Wichita Falls, Dallas, College Station down to San Antonio. That's important to us, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay, just a minute. Right now, 55 in Indy, 52 Brownsburg, and 46 in Crawfordsville. Greenfield is at 50. Good morning, Martinsville. You Artesians at 52, while it's 49 this morning in Kokomo and in Lafayette and in Richmond. Now, if you're headed to the Indianapolis International Airport, we do have a delay, and that's going to Dallas, and I think probably we'll see some to San Antonio as well this morning. But at the airport, the weather's going to be lovely. 68 by 11 a.m. if you're headed out there, and as everybody heads home from work and school today, 80 for a high. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Even warmer tomorrow. We'll get to that in a few minutes. I know we were talking about some problems east of the city earlier, Lindsay. How are we now?
We got a couple construction zones starting to wrap up. They're supposed to be wrapped up by 6, but we still have this one right lane block. This is out in Wayne County, so this is going to be some work on I-70 westbound. This is the ramp system off of US 27. Known locally as Chester Boulevard. So we had some crews out there doing some work on this stretch, but just know that there's going to be some lane closures kind of ongoing throughout Wayne County while they work on some resurfacing projects. Want to take this a little closer to the Indianapolis Metro into Hancock County. Got some good news here as we've been monitoring some overnight work on I-70 westbound at the Greenfield Rest area. That ramp is back open. All lanes also back open on I-70 West near State Road 9. We'll keep you posted if we do see any more issues or delays develop, guys.
Thank you. Well, we do want to continue to keep you updated about breaking news. We've been on the scene in Lawrence. We know one man is dead after a shooting in a neighborhood there near 46th and Franklin Road.
So police have also confirmed that a person of interest in this shooting has been detained. They are still investigating. They're live on the scene this morning, and they have been for several hours now. Lawrence PD says there is no active threat to the public, but still a very active scene as they are investigating here. We know the first call came in just before 3:30 this morning to a home on Vernon Avenue, and that's where police tell us they found the victim near a home there, and they were pronounced dead at the scene.
Now, it's still very early, obviously, in the investigation, and police do tell us they expect this street here, Vernon Avenue, to remain closed for another couple of hours. So, again, the largest intersection here is 46 and Franklin. So if your morning drive takes you in this area, just be aware there could be some traffic issues in this area this morning. We will stay at the scene, continuing gathering information and bring you the very latest here on air and online.
It's 6:04, and this morning we're looking at some staggering numbers of anti-Semitism in the U.S. and even closer to home in Indiana.
Our Marina Silva is in studio with us this morning talking about how this is really impacting a lot of people here in Indiana. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. It's being called a historic rise by the Anti-Defamation League, who keeps track of all these numbers. Hoosiers in the Jewish community are seeing more frequent anti-Semitic incidents now than in years past. Last year, there were 142 reported incidents of harassment, vandalism, and violence against the Jewish community here in Indiana. That's a 141% increase from 2023. Indiana ranks 12th in the nation for the total incidents at Jewish institutions, and a third of those reported incidents happening right here in Indianapolis. David Goldenberg is the regional director for the Anti-Defamation League. He's urging people to speak up.
Don't stay silent. Speak out. Challenge it. Respond to the hate and the anti-Semitism that we know is often led by lies and misinformation with facts.
That report also shows the Jewish population in Indiana is just 1/10 of the Jewish population in Illinois, yet we're still seeing about the same amount of incidents.
Just unfortunate, and hate to see it.
And startling.
Hopefully getting those numbers out brings awareness to that. Thank you.
Oh, your time is 6:05 right now. An Indianapolis man faces charges in connection with the deadly shooting on the city's east side. This was earlier this month on East Washington Street near Willard Park and North Rural Street. Investigators found Aaron McClellan dead inside of a U-Haul van. It was surveillance video that shows Russell Phelps wearing gloves, carrying keys, and throwing the victim's phone toward an alley, which is according to court documents. Well, he is now facing counts of assisting a criminal in committing murder, as well as obstruction of justice. This morning, a former Brownsburg elementary teacher will not spend any time in jail after taking a plea deal for neglect of a student.
Sarah Seymour is forcing a student in the life skills program to eat his own vomit a little more than 2 years ago. Such a disturbing case that's gone on now for so long. Seymour was set to go on trial next week. Well, instead, she pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor neglect charge.
And as part of that plea, the failure to make a report charge was dismissed. However, a judge sentenced Seymour to 365 days in jail for neglect of a dependent. However, she got credit for 2 of those days, and the other 363 were suspended. A judge also fined her $1.
This incident also involving that student who was just 7 at the time it happened was at Brown Elementary. The prosecutor charged several other people for their suspected involvement as well. Another teacher in the case pleaded guilty.
An instructional aide, Deborah Knipe, is also charged in the case. She is scheduled to go on trial at the end of June. A former aide and a behavioral technician at Kids Count Therapy face charges of failure to report in this case. You can read more about this at WTHR.com.
Well, right now, a Perry Township high school student is recovering after an overdose on drugs at school. In a letter to parents, the school said that the student was using a THC vape that unknowingly contained fentanyl. Narcan, which is kept on school property, was administered to the student twice before first responders arrived. In the letter, the school writes that the incident highlights the real dangers of vaping and being laced with such harmful substances. The student is expected to be okay.
A Howard County murder case was just dismissed because of a, quote, staffing crisis at the prosecutor's office. We just received the court documents granting the motion to dismiss the case against a man named Kevin Maddox. He was arrested in 2023 in connection to a 2006 deadly shooting in Kokomo. Those documents say the prosecutor's office just wrapped up a trial, and there's another starting this month. So the documents call the staffing issues in the office significant and ongoing, and they claim that they hinder the prosecutor's ability to prepare for major jury trials so close together. That motion does allow prosecutors to refile the charges in the case in the future.
Well, we want to take you live this morning to St. Peter's Basilica, where the Pope is lying in state. It's just after 11 a.m. there in Rome. And just 2 hours ago, the bells of St. Peter's tolling as the body of Pope Francis was transferred there to the Basilica. His body taken from the hotel where he lived instead of the official residence. Francis's body will lay in state in the Basilica until his funeral, which is Saturday.
But this morning, we're hearing from the leader of the Catholic Church in Indianapolis about the Pope's death. Archbishop Charles C. Thompson shared his thoughts on the Pope's strong faith, saying that Pope Francis prioritized treating everyone with respect and caring for the most vulnerable. In fact, Pope Francis brought Archbishop Thompson here to Indianapolis in 2017, and the two men met several times over the past 12 years.
We had a 2-hour and 40-minute meeting with him back in December of 2019, and he was just as personal and he just took questions and answered any question we had, and he did it very humbly and very transparent and just very personable, and I think that's just the way he was. He had that infectious smile. He was very personable. He was very engaged with people, and he just had a pastoral heart.
Well, there is a special mass tomorrow in honor of the Pope. It starts at noon at St. Peter and Paul Cathedral in downtown Indianapolis.
So we have seen a staple of race day, an IndyCar champion. Today we get to hear one. The roar of the engine. Cars will be out on the track for open testing starting this morning. So that's today and tomorrow, and you can watch the practice runs free of charge, either in turn 2 on the mounds there or the Southeast Vista grandstands. We have all the hours posted for you leading up to the race, all the other information you need to know at WTHR.com/SeenOn13.
Well, the blue and gold pull it off once again against the Bucks last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So the Pacers now lead the best-of-7 playoff series 2-0.
Like to be up as we're heading out of town. The Pacers are 2 wins away from ousting the Bucks in the first round. And the two teams met last year, you might remember, in the playoffs. Pascal Siakam put up 24 points and 11 rebounds. Siakam helped with a crucial three-pointer to help spark Indiana's final run last night with about 2.5 minutes left in the game. Tyrese Halliburton adding 21 and 12 assists that helped drive the Pacers to that win.
So we'll take a break from the home games now. And this Friday, the Pacers are in Milwaukee for Game 3 in the series. That tip-off is 8 p.m.
This morning, coming up here on Sunrise at 6:45, we're exploring Chuck's favorite places as we celebrate his 40 years here on Sunrise.
He is sharing an important place that does some really inspiring work for our community.